Oh, we are live. Hi, everybody. Welcome to BizOfShow Live, our Sunday morning chat. My name is Levi Walker, and I've got some really exciting guests here today. Today, the purpose of this live is, by the way, I should just say this is my first live, so I'm actually a little nervous, and I wasn't until about the clock said like 20 seconds remaining, and I was like, oh my God, I'm live. So I hope that you guys are watching, and if you're here, just comment and say hey and tell us where you're from so we know where you're at. And I'm just gonna kind of jump in. So my name is Levi Walker, and I am the co-host of BizOfShow, and with my best friend in the whole wide world, Candace Donahue, who is a diva singer. Today, she is under the weather, so she is not joining us, but she will be back in a couple of weeks when we have our next live. So a little bit about BizOfShow. BizOfShow is my Facebook group, our Facebook group, and it's BIZ of show, and essentially we are, our goal is, with this Facebook group, is to really share and invite people into this group so they can actually understand a lot more about the industry, because Candace and I have been in the business for collectively 50 years because we've known each other 25 years. And we have been performers, and I'm a photographer, and Candace is a voice teacher, and we just found the same issues with young performers. There's a lot of young performers out there, or people that are dreaming of being a performer, and with how social media has changed everything when it comes to auditioning, nowadays you're really at a disadvantage, and there's not a lot of real education about the business. There's amazing like Broadway training camps and commercial dance programs that are amazing and everything geared towards performance and your talent, but there's not really a lot of really strong education from a lot of different industry professionals who've been in the business for, a pretty long time. So we put together BizOfShow, and in this show, we do several things that I'm very excited about. And the first one is we kind of focus a little bit on branding and how that relates to the performer. And when it comes to branding, we've just noticed that a lot of people don't really understand how a brand relates to a performer. When I started in this industry 6 or 11 years ago, all in the photography business, I realized, oh my God, I've got to learn how to have a business. And so I started learning all this stuff about marketing and advertising and blah, blah, blah. And then one day I just had this epiphany, and it just said, if I really could go back and apply everything that I learned, that I had learned about running my photography business, if I applied that to my performing business, so much would take off, and it probably would have had a different trajectory. And one day I'll get into my story about performing, because it's really fun and a little dirty, but it's really interesting, and I can't wait to share that with you guys one day. But until then, I created this really great thing called the Essential Branding Roadmap for Performers. And if you go to leviwalker.com, you'll be able to download that for absolutely free. And it just talks about the six basic things that everybody needs in order to brand themselves. Really, it's in any business, but it's geared specifically towards performers. We talk about the difference between a headshot and what I have coined as a brand shot, and we talk about logos and colors, and there's just a ton of information in there. It's like 21 pages long. It's lots of info. So if you are interested in learning more about branding yourself as a performer, head over to leviwalker.com and grab that. It's a free download, and you'll be good to go. The other thing that we do that's really that I really am excited about is our BizOfShow talk show. This has been a dream of mine for a really long time, because I always wanted to be Oprah, but that never really worked out. But I just have this epiphany in my own life, like, look, if you want to do it, you do it. But when I realized we had all this content that we wanted to share with people and teach people how to do this, I wanted to incorporate all the people that have crossed our paths. I wanted to pick their brains and find out like what how they made it in show business, how they survived, and how they made it their own lane. And so we've got literally already 6 episodes are done and about ready to air. And then we're doing a bunch more, and we've got some really exciting people. Episode 1 was one of my favorite agents in LA, Jim Keith, who is he predominantly does dance and fitness and choreography, and he's great. And his interview was really great because he has like this very no bones about it, teaching about the business, like, and it's hardcore. And if you want to really make it, he's someone you want to listen to. Episode 2 was with Justin Bryant, backstage at Hamilton, and that's really fun. That's been airing all week long, and that's also my website. And this week, I'm very excited to announce that we went backstage at backstage at Phantom with Elizabeth Welch, who is the current standby / understudy for Christine, which I think is a really exciting job to have. And she's been playing Christine kind of all over the world for like 9 years. I mean, that's the job, and she's brilliant at it. And she also did that with one of my close friends, Brent Barrett, who is here we go. Brent Barrett, that's her and Brent playing Christine and Phantom in Germany. And in a couple of weeks, we actually have an interview with Brent Barrett, who is a Broadway legend, and that's really touching. We also have coming up Angela Johnson, who's one of my favorite comedians. She's the girl on YouTube who said, "Hey, welcome to King Burger, where you can have it your way, but don't get crazy." That's Angela Johnson. I love Angela. So I did a really good interview with her. There's so much coming out. I really would love for you guys to know more about it. We release everything on my Facebook page, and we also release everything into our private groups, so our secret group. So is it secret? It's closed. I always mix that up. But it's a closed group. But go join BizOfShow, and you can find all this information right inside of our Facebook group, BizOfShow. So I am very, very excited because today I have something I've wanted to do. I've never really done this. It's Sunday, so I kind of want to, preach and let's have a little Jesus moment. But it's Jesus Principles, but, because, I love the Lord. But this is one of my favorite books. It's called Who Says You Can't, You Do. And I love this book because it came in a time in my life that was really a dark time where, like, I couldn't find my vision. I just had a bunch of passion inside of me. And I think a lot of people, a lot of performers, we have this passion and we don't know where to go. And then we see something like, a TV show we want to be on, or a director we want to work with, or an action movie we want to be a stuntman for, or a Cirque du Soleil show and we want to spin in the ceiling or something, or we want to be on Broadway. And a lot of times we have these really great visions, but we have to be able to know how to actually accomplish them and do them. So I wanted to read like a little section from this book that I underlined like crazy. This book is great. It's Who Says You Can't, You Do. And it's with Daniel Chidiak. That's his name, Daniel Chidiak. But I'll post a link in the comments below. It looks like we might be having some little internet issues. Please do me a favor. If you see any issues, just drop something in the comments. I'm kind of keeping an eye out over here. But so here's what this is. This is talking about being specific with your vision and your goals. So when you're not clear about the result you want, you actually result in getting anything. So if you're not clear about the result and the determination, then you run the risk of getting just anything. You're not going to end up actually attaining your physical goal. Well, you might, but there's just so much more stuff that comes on. So I like to talk about being very specific. So it says here, most people aren't specific with what they want because they fear the feeling of failure if they don't ever get it. But my question for you is, why worry about that now? Why worry about that in advance? Why worry about failure and what that's going to feel like in the future? And he writes in here, I've discovered that in order to create an extraordinary life, we must raise the bar so high that it actually scares us. And that's kind of why I'm here doing this right now. There is, I mean, I've always wanted to have my own talk show, and I wanted to educate and teach people and inspire people and motivate people, but it's actually been a fear, like, what if it doesn't work? And I kind of just came up with this, like, I don't give a crap, like, anymore if it doesn't work, or if I fail, or if it doesn't succeed, or if somebody has something to say bad to say about me. I just kind of don't care anymore. And this book was a huge help for that. But here he says, only by raising our standards do we give ourselves the opportunity to step up to such a level. And I love this because what we do with fear stops us dead in our tracks. And it puts up a wall. So we actually don't have the actual opportunity to even get where we want to do. So before the opportunity is even presented to us, we've already shut it off, like in our mind and how we think about things. Besides the fear aspect, most find it easier to wishfully think what they want will just appear, which I think a lot of performers do. They think, I want to be on Broadway, and they go to New York and they audition, and they have their goal, but maybe they weren't ready for it. Maybe they needed more training or more experience or more credits on their resume. What these people must realize is that the reason they will never get what they want is actually caused by their reluctance to create more clarity in the first place. So again, who says you can't? You do. It's one of my favorites. I think this is like my second or third time going through it and reading it. It's really fantastic. But it's just talking about clarity, and it's talking about being very specific with exactly what you want. And so what I want to do is something I see a lot all the time, whether it's in LA or New York. There are dancers that show up and they're like, you know what? I want to dance with Justin Timberlake. And they just focus on dancing with Justin Timberlake and auditioning. But maybe they're not right with it, or maybe they want to dance with Gaga. You have to really track and be very specific with your goal, but understand that there are steps to getting there. And so that's kind of what I wanted to share today. That's my church. Yes. That's my Jesus. Yes. And now I'm really excited to introduce my guests today. One of the things that I think was one of the best decisions I ever made in my life was to go work on a cruise ship. And then, oh, hey, Candace. Hi, how are you? So Candace is sick and she's at home watching this. You just put a little video in here. What is that for? Comment and tell me. So what was I saying? And nobody's here to help me because they're all in the lobby waiting. They're down here. I can see them, but you can't see them. Okay, cruise ships, best decision. One of the best decisions I ever made. It gave me peace. Oh my God, it was a time when I really needed peace, except for the crazy roommate that like broke in my room and stood over my bed stalking me. And after I got him kicked out of my room, that was weird. But brought me a lot of peace, but it also gave me opportunity to really plan for the next phase of my life. I wrote 3 scripts. I created a show. And I had so much training. I had my body in shape. And when I went to LA, it was like, yay. It was perfect when I got off my ship. So I wanted to bring in my guests. There are 2 very special guests. Let me get them in the room here. We're going to pop in. We got both. Let's see. Oh, we're all here. Show and show. I have got Mr. Robert Dean Hortenstein. Is it Steen or Stein?
Stein.
Stein. Okay, there we go. And Miss Jubel, you probably can't say her name. Her name is Jubel Obien.
Yay, yes, not O'Brien. I am not Irish. I know you are surprised by that.
That's amazing. Well, Obien. So these guys are amazing. So Jubel is a phenomenal music director, vocal arranger, conductor, director, producer. Like this girl, like she kind of does it all. And she is busy and she hustles her face off. So thank you for your time. And she was music director and vocal coach for Norwegian and Holland America. Is that correct?
Yes. I have done shows for both amazing companies, and I'm super happy to be on with Robbie, who I admire and love so much.
And you guys have actually worked together too, right?
Yes, actually, I can't call working. You cannot call working Robbie because it doesn't feel like work. Like it just feels so fun, and you're with such great people, and he's so talented. So it doesn't ever feel like work when I'm working with Robbie.
And how many shows do you think that you've worked on cruise ships, Jubel?
Oh, okay. Well, my first job is I actually got my job with Holland America because of Robbie's best friend and my friend Jill Hillier, and she actually had to call me 5 times to get me to say yes to my first musical directing job on a cruise ship, because I was like, and I think this is something we're gonna all talk about today, but I was like, I don't want to be on a cruise ship the rest of my life. And I kept saying, Jill, I love you, no. And I kept hanging up. And she finally called the last time. She's like, Jubes, just come. You're gonna just come. Don't say no until you come. So I went on my very first musical directing job for Holland America in 2006, and all the way to 2016. And then I started to freelance, and I started working for Robbie's company and a lot of other companies. And so how many shows? Maybe 300.
That's what I wanted to hear. That's the number I wanted to hear. I want people to understand, just how much of a pro you are at cruise ships, and why every word that comes out of your mouth, I want everyone to write it down, record it, download the video, watch it 20 times
yeah. I mean, can I tell you that I don't think that people understand that a creative team on a show for a cruise ship means you're actually working on 6 at the same time. You're not just working on one show, but you've got 6 in rotation at the same time. And usually all of us are having to talk to each other in which show. So I always say to my creative friends, tell me which show first, then I'll answer your question. Because we're working on so many at the same time. So
I will tell you that my first job, and we've been hogging the mic, sorry, Robert. But
no, it's all good.
My first job, I had to learn 6 shows in 3 weeks. And they were like, and you're kind of, going to sing everything. You have it was all singers. It was all of us were singers. So we had so many songs to learn. It was ridiculous. Robert, how many shows do you think go on each of your installs?
Oh, wow. That's a huge question. I mean, I oversee 26 ships now across the 3 brands with Norwegian. We have Norwegian Cruise Line, Oceania, and Regent 7 Seas. So between the 26 ships, we have about 52 different productions happening.
Holy cow, people.
At once.
There are more. Okay, I believe there are 100 times more jobs available now than there were 10 years ago, 15 years ago. I mean, seriously.
Alone with Norwegian, we hire over 1,000 people a year alone to perform in our shows.
Did you guys hear that? 1,000 people, 1,000 jobs, more than 1,000 jobs, but that per year, per year.
Yes.
I mean, that's insane. And we haven't really introduced Mr.
We lost
Hortenstein. Did I say all that right?
I don't know because I didn't hear it. You kind of dropped out.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, this is Robert. I'm just going to say Robert. So I don't want to murder your name. But Robert is the director of entertainment for Norwegian Cruise Lines. And like you guys just heard him say, he does 26 ships, 1,000 performers a year. Is that 50? Did you say it's how many productions? 52
or more different productions. Because on certain ships, some casts will do 3 to 5 different shows on one ship alone. On our Breakaway Plus class, which is our Broadway series, we have specific casts that do, for instance, Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, or Rock of Ages, or our newest show, Jersey Boys. But then some of them will also cross over other show or do a sub show called Happy Hour Prohibition, which is a drinking event musical.
Wow,
else to say
that
it.
sounds lots of
Robbie,
fun.
you should have hired me for that show.
Right?
I think you should hire me and Jubel just to go drink and
Okay, me
sing.
and Levi
Yeah.
will be there.
It's with a great company. They're Wine Lovers the Musical, and they create a new show for us called Prohibition, which is the night before Prohibition, and you're in a speakeasy, and you have a taste of different drinks that come to you told. It's just a lot of fun.
Sounds like real fun. So, you said something really interesting. You mentioned all these Broadway shows that are on ships. And I think that's what I think a lot of people who maybe might think, oh no, I don't want to do ships, or I don't want to do this, or I don't want to, a lot of people might not even realize that, hey, there's Broadway like on a ship. Tell me about that.
And when we do a Broadway show, we use the original creatives. So for instance, when we did After Midnight, we had Warren Carlyle teach and create the show for us, recreate it, as well as the Toledos, who designed the set and all the costumes, who won Tonys for all this. As a result, people are working with Warren Carlyle, and then when they get to New York, when they show up to an audition, he remembers everyone, good and bad. So,
wow,
we have people
what a great opportunity.
Yeah, it's been great. We've had a couple of our past dancers and singers who've crossed over and have done Hello Dolly or going on tour with Warren and his other shows. And in fact, because he came to us, we went and got After Midnight first. We had a great time. He loved the facility in Tampa. We have all of our studios there. And he loved it so much that he approached us and said, can I write you a show, create you a show? We're like, wait, what?
Yeah, what?
So Warren Carlyle wrote and created a show called Havana that just debuted on our new ship, The Bliss, which is on its way over to New York as we speak. And it's original music, also with Albeita, who's a huge Latino Grammy Award-winning singer-songwriter. She wrote 4 original songs. We have the set design by the Toledos again. Warren Carlyle directed and created this amazing evening. It's called Havana, and it is gorgeous. So that's going to play.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Oh,
and so
cool.
it was great because we also workshopped. And it's the first time we worked with equity, and we did an equity workshop. I shouldn't say workshop. An equity,
Contract.
type of.
Call it a contract.
Event, because we were creating the whole thing, and it was kind of like a pre-production, but we hired all equity actors to come to Florida and help create with Warren. So it was exciting to work with the union as well, which is exciting. So we've had people from the Broadway company from After Midnight were in that event with us, working pre-production with Warren in the studios, and they happened to be there when we were doing a run-through of After Midnight. So to have original cast members in our studio watching a run-through of After Midnight, the show they originated on Broadway, was thrilling. So
wow,
fun.
that's so cool. And how awesome that you get that opportunity, and that these performers get the opportunity, because, let's face it, you go to New York and competition is so stiff that, and there's so many reasons why you don't get a job. Like, are you guys, like, when you cast these Broadway shows, are you how does that work with like finding the talent? Does that make sense? Because we all know, like, somebody cannot be ready for Broadway, but be perfect for ships, right?
Right.
Because you can let people in that need growth, but Broadway is like millions and millions of dollars, and you got to drop it in. Yeah, go for it.
I'm sorry. I put my hand up. I just wanted to say, because Robbie is talking about people workshopping, and sometimes I call it sketching. When you sketch something new on people. And I don't think that young performers understand that there's a million writers out there who want to sketch their new work. And the thing that like Robbie's company does, and the cruise ships do, is they allow for these amazing talents to come in and sketch their beautiful show and see. And there's not a lot of places that do that anymore. I think that the cruise ship industry really has opened up, hey, let's create something new. So literally you're getting a 45-minute to 50-minute Broadway creation that is created specifically for their theater. And I mean, there's just no other industry that's really doing that except for Broadway. And as you were just saying, the top 10% get that opportunity. But I would say that there's probably a million more performers out there who would love to have that opportunity to get something written for them. And Robbie's company, Holland America, RCL, all of these companies write new shows, and and you get to do it in a 5-star like hotel that's floating on a ship in the water, to Italy, to Rome, so I just don't. I mean, even on Broadway, you're in New York, which is amazing, but that Broadway show every day isn't going to port in Rome and then port in. So okay, go. That's the exciting.
I was gonna say, you live in New York. I think Broadway equity minimum now is like $2,000 a week for a Broadway show, and people are like, "Oh my God, $8,000 a month." It's going to cost you $2-3 grand just to have a normal size apartment. Like, right. I'm all about it.
You said normal size apartment in New York.
A New York normal size apartment, but that's still a bathroom.
It's as big as your cabin on a cruise ship.
That is the truth.
And your New York apartment isn't going to go to Australia. You know what I mean?
No, it's not. I always say, I used to sit like after dinner, like at Sail Away, I used to go and I had a stack of books I was learning how to write. And I used to go sit on the bow of the ship. The side of the ship goes up. And like there's a little hole in the side so water can come in when you're in rough seas, I used to sit there with the water flowing underneath me in the Mediterranean and read for an hour. And then I would go up as the sun was setting and I would jog for an hour as the sun's setting over the Mediterranean.
It is a great life.
And everyone was at dinner. I was by myself. No human being, like no one in America knew where I was. And then I would go downstairs to take a shower and like go sing my face off. I mean, it's fun.
It's a great opportunity to travel, and
so great.
And not only travel, but you're doing such quality work now. It's really amazing.
So let's talk about. That's the thing I was impressed with. I went to on the Oasis a couple of years ago, and the quality of the performers was really good.
Yes.
Before you'd see, the little guy in the back who couldn't, carry. It wasn't on beat, but somehow got hired. 20 years ago. Or the singer who was just like a little under pitch, and they're like, "Oh man, you came and you gave." You have a little bit of that, right? But now it's not like that anymore.
I would have to say, I'm going to speak for Robbie, but I mean, I've been in the process with NCL of them hiring singers, and they are very, very, they have a lot of things that they look for in a performer. And I'm going to jump in here and just say that I have an academy here in Southern California, and it's not like a regular academy where you just sing, dance, and act. We actually put you in a show and put you through the paces so that you can go and audition for like Robbie's company. And I think I think that young kids nowadays they're just like literally singing karaoke and singing.
Like
I'm not saying anything against karaoke.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm Asian. I love karaoke. But I wanted to say that I feel like the kids out there, like, how do I go and audition for Robbie? How do I go and audition for any of these other big companies? And I feel like I think the training needs to be to not just be a pop singer and not just be an opera singer, and not just only be able to jazz, but to tap. Because really a triple threat person on a cruise ship is valuable. And those people, I think,
so valuable. And Robbie, do you want to jump in?
Yeah, I mean, because the shows aren't just basic reviews anymore. And if they are, they require a lot more to do. We have singers and dancers throughout the shows now. And to support these type of shows that we're doing. I mean, we're working with, when we did Blazing Boots, which was choreographed by Chase Spence, one of the hottest talents for today. Amazing.
I love Chase Spence a lot.
He's,
by the way,
only...
I need to just say this real quick. Chris Martin is on, and he says, "Hi, Jubel, one of my all-time favorite vocal directors."
Yay! Hi, Chris.
Hi, Kenneth. And if you're watching, just say hi. Oh, listen, we've only got. They must have been bored with us. Anyway, keep going. Chase Benz.
Chase Benz, I mean, an amazing talent for today's talent, and not only a wonderful choreographer, but a person as well. Such a quality person, and to work with these amazing people is such an opportunity for the young talent today. And not only that, but we hire around the world. So you're not working with just like a group of Americans from college. You're working with Australians, British, Ukrainian, from everywhere, Italian, and that's what's exciting for the Broadway producers who come to us who want to develop their shows with us, is that they're not limited to just an American group. Because we're an international company, we can now hire everywhere. And so, as I said, we just opened Jersey Boys, and the Dodgers were so excited because we brought in Frankie from the South African tour. We brought in people from the British tour. We brought people in from the American tour, the Australian tours. So we have this international cast of people who've done the show who can now do it as one group. And it's unbelievable. I'm so proud of it, and it's exciting.
That is so stinking cool. I am excited for you.
Yeah.
So
Levi, you and I have to go on one of Robbie's ships.
I was actually just thinking that, but I was thinking more like we need to I was going to wait and not do it on air so we could lose Robbie to get a good discount or something.
We would have so much fun, and we could interview everybody and look at the process.
My God, that's so true. We could totally do that. So let's talk about auditioning. So, like you said, there's a lot of kids out there, Jubel, who feel like they come in doing karaoke. I had a friend of mine, or Jim Keith, just told me in his interview a couple of weeks ago that literally he had someone who was singing like a Beyonce song for a musical theater audition for an agent. And people come in, and they think because they can sing karaoke that they can do this as a career. And, the training that you need is so vital and so important. And you were just talking about being a triple threat and how important that is. But you guys, what do people need to have under their belt and be awesome at in order to get to get an audition for, just talk Norwegian or any cruise line?
Yeah. Robbie, and I'll let Robbie jump in on this every now and then. I just went through a whole day yesterday, 8 hours of auditioning for West Side Story and Little Shop of Horrors for two different companies. One is my company, and one is a company that I've been hired to be their musical director. And I think I'm just saying this to all kids who are listening or are going to listen to this broadcast. You need to prepare the song that you're singing for the show that we're asking for. So if you're auditioning for Robbie's company, and Robbie's company, which is NCL, is going to produce West Side Story, Beyonce would not be the song. That's not the song to sing for his auditions. If you're auditioning for Little Shop of Horrors, which is like a pop musical, 50s pop musical, I just think that you need to figure out what the style and the genre of the show that you think you're right for is correct for you to show up at that audition. So, for instance, yesterday I had somebody sing Love on Top from Beyonce, which she did amazing, but she was auditioning for West Side Story. So I asked her, could you sing Somewhere from West Side Story? Well, first of all, she didn't know Somewhere from West Side Story. Help me, Jesus. And then she also, this was not a child. This was
do your research.
Yeah, you really need to do your research. This was a 20-year-old. She didn't know who Leonard Bernstein was, and of course, she didn't know who Jerome Robbins was. So when I asked these things it just immediately told me she scanned what she was supposed to be ready for. She didn't really read it. So had she really read the actual profile of what we were looking for, she would have been more prepared. So
or she would have not gone.
Go.
That's an option. Do you know what I'm saying? That is an option.
Right.
You don't have to go something that you're not right for, right? Or you can just go in and go, I just wanted the experience. I just wanted to stand in front of this table of people and sing with a piano and be scared as shit and
right.
and do it.
And that's great, and we support that. But also at the same time, it's hard because then we get these people who we love dearly and we want to hire them. They're like, oh, I'm not interested in cruise ship. Then why did you come to the audition?
Right.
Because don't waste my time.
Right.
Either. So that's a fine line between getting experience and actually audition for a job that you're actually interested for. Because the people behind the table want you to be great. We want you to be good because it makes our job easier. That's the one thing about auditions. If I knew this when I was auditioning, that the people behind that table are not there to judge me, criticize me, hate me, put me down. They're there wanting you to be good. Like,
hey, I just want to say, you all heard it straight from the entertainment director's mouth, right? And here's the thing, people. I mean, when we were growing up and we were all performing, auditions were scary, right?
Yes.
You had adrenaline going through you. But the reason, the thing that makes it so weird to me, and something that I started saying years ago, is your job is to be a professional auditioner. Right. The rest is cake, and you already know how to do it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, because by the time you're developing that audition, like, and you can walk into a room and go, here I am, let's do this, right? Then that's when you start to book stuff. I remember walking into a show I wanted to be in more than anything in the world, and I said, I happen to know that you need a swing. So I'm going to sing for every role in the show. Here we go. And hit it. And I ended up, getting a phone call, and then the show closed before I joined.
Well, that's okay.
But that happens. But
I'm going to jump in on what Robbie was saying about don't waste our time. I think the thing we need to say to the world is go to auditions in your hometown. Go to everything that you think you're right for to get the experience of getting really ready for a professional audition. So get those kinks out. I mean, sing songs, get a vocal coach, figure out what your 32 bars are that you slay at. Slay. And then go to an NCL audition with your resume and your headshot and know the shows that they are looking for, and walk in prepared that and show them that you say, I know this is a rock and roll show. And I think a lot of kids don't think you can talk to us.
Yesterday, I know, it's so weird. Like,
it's so weird.
Talk.
If you just walked in and said to Robbie, I have 3 songs, one's pop, one's more like musical theater, and one's a legit pretty piece, what would you like to see? I think that would make Robbie go, and me, wow, this person actually prepared. And so immediately we want to work with you because we can see that you did the work. And maybe when we're teaching you 5 shows in 4 weeks, that is the truth. 5 shows in 4 weeks, that we're going to see that you're going to go home and actually, because really, I don't want anybody to think that the cruise ship industry is easy either. It's the hardest working people I've ever been around, probably the hardest production people I've ever worked with. And from musicians to the person who does your costumes to all, and it is high end. Meaning the customers that you're singing for and you're performing for are wanting an experience. So let me just tell you, the people on our ships want to see Broadway talent. They want to see.
They expect it now.
They expect it because they're paying money for a vacation, and they want to see people who are amazing. And so if we don't provide that for them, Robbie's company, everybody's companies are struggling to get high ratings from patrons, because we want our patrons to love the shows. So that is why we demand for you to, so if you're in, I don't care if you're in Wisconsin or whatever, you got to find a coach, and you got to be serious. You got to take every style of dance, and you have to be able to go into like Robbie's company or Norwegian or NCL. And that's the other thing, is every company has a different flavor, which is so cool. Holland America, they have an older crowd, and families, and so their shows are geared to them. Robbie's company is so hip. Their people are hip. They're usually, and Robbie, you have to stop me if I'm wrong. I've noticed that a lot of the people who are cruising are our age and have kids and are very hip to like what's out there. They know all of the shows that are on Broadway right now. So, I mean,
Yeah.
these people are expecting great talent, and we want them to come. So if
Right.
you're wanting to do this, that's how you get seen.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm
Yeah.
gonna stop. That was the Filipino. That was my amen, Jesus. Go get trained.
Well, let me just tell you, for those of you Jubel on Facebook has these rants that are so epic and so amazing that literally, Jubel, you realize you could hire someone to go through and just write them all out, and you would have a book, and you could sell it for $10.
I'm telling you, I might do that.
So Robert, talk to me about what a really bad, some bad auditions, some things that you don't want to see, and then some things that are really good that you do want to see in the room.
Okay. 1, please dress appropriately. Do not wear baggy clothes, your street clothes, torn, ripped. Your body, your appearance is your business card. So when you walk into that room, you better be selling me something and representing who you are and representing what we're looking for. So these ripped clothes and just come dressed properly. And ladies, this is working for a cruise ship, and it's a very elegant. So when you come in with a dress, please wear heels, and please wear something appropriate too. And the gentlemen too. There's so much goes when you walk in with a button-down shirt, even if they're a pair of jeans, but nicely tailored and looking great. Present your best self forward. That's one of the biggest things.
Am I saying please don't put your tits out? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Wear something appropriate. Yeah, and also be open to suggestions, be open to direction, be open to different ways of doing things. And if you, in New York, if you walk in with your book, you better know every song in that book. Because I am famous for going up and going to the book and saying, oh, I'd love to hear this song. And if you don't know it, it just kills your audition right there. So, and a book is important. Even in LA, sometimes, putting a book together, and the new students today don't understand what the value of a book is. In the book of your vocal selection should have various styles, tempos, ranges, characters, genre.
And you should know them all so good that you could slay any audience at the drop of a hat.
Yes. And know the whole song, not just your 16 bars. Because I have gone
right now.
I have gone and I said, oh, let's start the song from the top. I love the song. Oh, I only know this much. That's all I have in my book.
Mean, that's just, yeah.
So
I'm a little guilty of that.
I want to jump in on this because Robbie says a really important thing. People don't understand that on a cruise ship company, we have what's called a guest entertaining spots. And what that means is you, as a performer, get like a 30-minute to 35-minute show on your own that you get to perform for a whole bunch of people in a beautiful showroom. And if you can't sing a 4-minute song, we can't put you out there as a guest entertainer to sing for people for 40 minutes. So I will tell you, I have had a million singers say, Jubel, why can't I get hired? I go, honey, you only know 32 bars of every song known to man. So we're not doing a medley for 35 minutes. You have to actually know the whole song. So,
yes.
I mean, I love that Robbie said that because I feel like we are raising a bunch of singers who only are good for 90 seconds. And I call it the American Idol audition or the Voice audition flash, which is where you're only great for 90 seconds. You don't know anything else except that. I mean, we only know RESPECT and that is it. Like, we don't know the rest of the song, which, we couldn't sing from the top verse. And
right.
That's a disservice to you because singers, and I'm just going to say this to all singers, you need to know the classics. People want to hear the classics. You can't just know Beyonce and Taylor Swift. And people want to hear Aretha. They want to hear Natalie Cole. Look her up. Natalie Cole. Important. to know who that person is.
Oh my
They
God.
want to
Why
know.
do people think that they can go into an industry that has like history and then not know anything and then
Right.
still expect to succeed?
Well,
Like you've got to know who people are and songs and music and influences.
Celine Dion, Barbara Streisand. These are people that all girl singers should know. If you don't know who Barbara Streisand is, hang on just a second. I'm having a moment of a flashback of some singer who said this to me. But if you don't know who that is, you need to look them up, because people who just go listen to people sing are going to say, could you sing Barbara Streisand's Don't Rain on My Parade? I mean, you're going to need to know these songs. So I think
Don't tell me not to live, just sit and stutter.
I see Levi.
Sputter.
I love it. But I'm saying that the average 20-year-old doesn't really know Barbara Streisand, Natalie Cole, Judy Garland. Judy Garland. Please know who Judy Garland is. Okay, sorry, I went off on a tangent again.
And you're off your soapbox.
Okay, I'm done.
But that also goes towards dancers as well. You have no different styles like Jerome Robbins. I mean, Luigi, Ronnie DeMarco, Frank Hatchett, all these teachers of jazz. Fosse, and all these amazing choreographers and styles. And all they are becoming these one-trick ponies, trick after trick after trick after trick. I want to see you dance. I need to see you dance between the tricks. I need to see your style. I need to see the passion. Dance through the entire combination, not just hit a trick. Musicality, and understand where it comes from. Okay.
Okay, so talk to me about talk to me about some of your favorite. Well, both of you. Why don't each of you give me one example of like someone you worked with on a ship that ended up blowing up or doing really well, and what you loved about them when you were working with them?
I'll go with one. J. Harrison Gee. He was a singer, a very lovely African American gentleman. He came and he did one of our production shows, and he did really great. And then he moved from another ship to another ship. And through each ship, he kept growing and growing and growing and growing. And his professionalism, his attitude, his talent are true to his core. Like, you want to work with this man. And I saw him and I said, listen, you need to audition for Kinky Boots. The title role is you are Lola. And little and behold, he booked the national tour, and then he's been on Broadway for the past 2 years playing the role. And he's just now in The Sting, working with Warren Carlyle at Paper Mill, the new musical. The man is so talented and wonderful. And so he's one of my favorite stars, if you want to, people from us. And he still has a heart of gold, and he's just simply brilliant.
Well,
awesome.
I'm going to I'll say this is the most recognizable, but in 2010 or 11, I met this young man named Todrick. And
I knew you were going to say that. I
mean, and Todrick was a hot mess when he walked into the studios, and I was like, please, Lord Jesus, make him survive this contract. And and I have a lot of funny stories about Todrick, but just when you work with Todrick, when I first met him, he walked into the piano room that I have, and he walked in and he says, I don't read music, but just play it for me and I'll learn it. And literally went home every night and came back memorized, knew all his parts. And I thought, this kid is going to go somewhere, because he has one of those brilliant minds where he would say to me, Jubes, you changed that yesterday. Do you remember? Like, he remembered the changes from 5 days before on the show that we were writing. And so if everybody knows who Todrick Hall is, now he is this blow up star on YouTube. He's been in Kinky Boots, which I think is funny because he's been in Kinky Boots. He was in Chicago on Broadway. And so, and we're very close. I love him very much. And he's one of those people who, even though he is Todrick Hall, he's still Todrick. He's still the same person. People don't think that. People think he's changed, but I do not believe he's changed. I think he's the same person, and I love him a lot. And my other favorite is a guy named Peter Nelson, and he worked with me on the New Amsterdam for Holland America. We actually wrote 4 shows on him. And Peter's been in Chicago. He's been, he was actually, I think, the dance captain in Chicago for like 4 years on Broadway. And I love him deeply. And he's a dancer who I believe he's from Utah, but those Utah people, amazing. He studied as a legit opera singer, but could dance. So when he showed up, I was like, that guy is triple turning on both sides and singing a B flat. Singing B flat.
Singing a B flat.
I mean, as an opera, baritone. Singing, wow. And he was singing Nessun Dorma. So if anybody knows that song, it's a Pavarotti's, most famous. But he could sing Nessun Dorma and turn like Fuete. I go, oh my God, how did we get but that's the kind of talent. And I know Robbie has the same, where he walks in a room and you go, how are you fueting and singing that note? It's just these amazing people who found a home traveling the world on a cruise ship. So I think that's amazing.
And I'll just jump in and agree with and talk about Todrick for a second. Candace and I, literally, I was in Seattle and I was like, oh my God, Todrick's here. And we got tickets and it was like 3rd row, like right on the end. And so like, it was like this 3 seats that we were literally like right up front. And I'm telling you, that boy never ceases to blow my mind with his determination and his get stuff done attitude and make it happen. Like, I mean, this boy was doing Chicago and writing his new album in the dressing room during the show. And I actually just had dinner with his dresser the other night, and she was like, that's all she could talk about. And it's like, he's like, he is an anomaly, right? Like, not everybody's going to have the talent or the stamina or the wherewithal or the drive or the ambition of Todrick Hall, but at least that's a good bar to set for people.
Right. I was fortunate enough to work with him last summer, part of the Broadway Theater Project that we do here in Tampa. And so that's when I first met him. And he just working with all the kids, because he also studied with the Broadway Theater Project. And I go in and teach a class and give talk back and talk about Norwegian and everything else. And in fact, on Wednesday in Orlando, I will be seeing Todrick.
Are you serious? Oh my God, why is he all in our world?
He's everywhere.
He's in Orlando, and I'm going to the show Wednesday night.
Oh my God, I'm going to tag him on this.
So excited.
So you're going to tag him, and also you're going to see he's wearing all kinds of, there's all kinds of great costumes, but he happens to be wearing all kinds of cool costumes that he got from me. So when you see the big yellow Mackie design that I inherited from a show from Holland America, you will go, hey, there's that yellow dress. You're going to love it. It's amazing.
I thought about that when I was seeing the show. I was like, I just saw Jubel post that like he raided your warehouse in like the middle of the night.
At 2 a.m. Okay, so I got to tell you this story because you're going to love it. At 12 p.m., I get a message. Jubes, I love you. I need help. I'm filming tomorrow. I need costumes. And literally 2 hours later at my warehouse, he had 4 cars full of beautiful, because his assistants are all gorgeous. So they all get out of their car at 2 a.m., somehow looking beautiful. I don't get it. And raided everything. We took a picture at 2 a.m. in the morning with all of their cars stuffed full of in LA. Hilarious. I keep thinking I'm going to have a webcam someday with all of the things that are happening to me because nobody would ever believe it. It's so crazy. I'm sure Robbie says the same thing.
It's insane.
How is this our life? But it's fabulous. It's fun.
It's true. And it just goes to show that relationships are so important. I think all of us have probably burned relationships in our life and built great ones. And not all of them are meant to work forever. But Lord have mercy. Robert, we don't even know where Robert and I met years ago. So we literally cannot figure it out. Jubel and I worked together almost 20 years ago. Like it's like a JC Superstar. Yeah. And it's like relationships are so important.
Levi, who was famous in that show with us, JC Superstar.
Eden Espinoza. Yeah, she was the Mary. She was our Mary. Yeah. And that was great to watch her grow.
Yeah.
It's been so crazy. The relationships that you build in the beginning. Here's a good point too for young talent. The relationships you build in the beginning become relationships throughout your career, and they will pop back. I mean, it's been so thrilling that now I have Jill Hillier working for me. I have Eric Jordan Young working for me. I've had people who I've met years ago in different aspects who now work for me, like Luann Madorma, who is the artistic director for Le Rev. Her and I did Starlight Express together back in the day in Germany.
Starlight Express!
Yes! And she now is one of our casting directors for the ships. She helps us cast Million Dollar Quartet, Priscilla, all of it. And not only does she run Le Rev out in Vegas, but she's also helping us in casting. It's amazing, these people that we meet and still work with today.
And I'll tell you,
my mind.
Like, it's also amazing how small the world is.
Yes.
And that's why it's like every person that you work with needs to be treated like gold. And it's not for a selfish reason. It's just a respect thing. But like gold, like losing, you cannot have meltdowns. I had a meltdown in my underwear on tour in the middle of a Motel 6 parking lot with 6 feet of snow. Like, you can't have that. You can't have, like, you can't have temper tantrums on stage. You can't have, there's just you can't get in
behind closed doors. Go over there. And, I always say to my dancers and singers, and even my creative team, I understand there's days you don't like me, and I get that. But just do it over there. Like, do it over there.
Well, I have to say, passion. I keep saying this to people that I'm like in casting workshops with. I love people who are passionate, and I actually think if you're normal, possibly there's something wrong with you. But I think it's okay to not be normal and to have that moment where you go, okay, I need to do this in my room, and then I'm going to go out on stage, find my light, and just sing to the world or dance my face off or whatever. Yeah. But everybody has a moment, and I think you just have to allow yourself that moment behind closed doors to do that.
Yes.
And then it's going to only give you opportunity to work with more people. Because just as Robbie is saying, and Levi, I think we all agree that the world is so small. And those stories about you freaking out or being hard to work with get around. And Robbie
oh my God.
It gets around.
It does get around. And all the lines talk to each other. We talk to each other.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that leads me to my next question.
Here we go.
My next question is, what causes a dancer to fail or get fired from a cruise ship? Because here's the thing, and when you watch an infomercial and they're like, it's only $9.95, and like the mattress is $9.95, but then you get on the phone and they're like, yeah, and it's a $400 shipping fee, right? The first day you're on a cruise ship, you walk on and they're like, you have to go to safety training, and you're going to watch a video about how you're going to die on this ship. And this is the man. The only words you say to him are, yes, sir. You stand up at attention. You do not be late to boat drill. And like, you enter this world of like crazy. Like, what? Tell me about this.
It's like boot camp meets summer camp.
That's
how I describe it.
Meets big gay musical theater summer camp.
But if you think about it, on a ship, it's set up in military for safety reasons. It's the captain, the staff captain, the hotel director. There's a reason. They are in charge of all of these lives at sea. So there are reasons that you have to know the safety. There are reasons you need to help run and protect. Because at the end of the day, I don't want to be dark, but when you look back at these ships that have gone under or have sank or had issues, the one department that saves the entire ship is always entertainment. The cruise director, the dancers, musicians, they're the ones who's out there rallying everything while captains and people run off the ship. Like that horrible accident that happened on Costa.
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me? It's the cruise director and his staff, which is the entertainment department, saving the day.
I wanted to say that Rob, this is so funny.
I'll do this, and drop your questions in the comments. Oh. If you guys want to, not you guys are fine. We're gonna start taking questions here in a second. And from anybody, we've got got a couple of viewers in here, and but we just take any questions you guys have. One question I have is, I was going to comment on what you just said, Robert, is that when on my second ship, I was so bored because we worked 6 hours a week that I was on the rescue diving team. I did the fire training. Me and one man could single-handedly evacuate the entire side of a ship in 30 minutes or 45 minutes. Like the whole boat and everything. Like I was on it. It was just fun. I got to scuba dive under the boat and like clean the side of the boat. And that's such an interesting world.
It is, and you get other opportunities outside of entertainment that are so life valuable later in life. Like you learn, like you said, scuba diving, safety, security. I mean, when I was on tour with Blue's Clues and Dora Live, and
oh my god, we now have more friends in common.
I was the male swing, and Jen Rapp and I were the swings, and we got to help with merch, backstage, company management, stage management, and I learned all these things just because I wanted to learn more. And now as the entertainment director for Norwegian, I pull on those experiences, like knowing how to run a management, how to run a budget, how to call a show, how to do all this stuff is invaluable knowledge that I didn't know I was learning at the time. So take other opportunities. Don't just limit yourself just to one experience. There's so much to learn.
And use your time wisely. I mean, like I said earlier, like in that second ship contract that I had, we were on the booze cruise to Ensenada on Royal Caribbean, and I am not lying. By the way, Wayne Brady did the same shows I did, 2 contracts before me. Wayne
Brady.
That was the show where I came up like out of a puff of smoke, dressed like Tina Turner and sang "Proud Mary." It was amazing.
Do you have video of that? I want to.
Oh, we're dying to see that.
I don't think there is a video, but that same ship where I was on the rescue diving squad, I was on the firefighting squad, I was on the all of it. I still went and got a laptop and sat and wrote and learned how to write sitcoms and wrote 3 sitcom scripts. Like you have to be utilizing your time really well because when you keep your mind active, I mean, even if nowadays, just think about if you have an eye for photography or video, what you can do on a ship in Greece and Turkey and Italy and Spain, like what you can do for your Instagram to build your brand, to find other ways to make money. I mean, seriously, there's so much opportunity right now that's another reason why I think doing ships is just really smart right now.
I want to, can I jump in on that or do we have
Yes, go for it. No, we have plenty of time.
I just wanted to say that several of my F1s, we call them female leading ladies. And Robbie and I always say that we need to write a book of the language of how we talk for cruise ships. We have our own deets or details of how we do things. And we don't call choreography, we call them OGs. So we have all these little abbreviations and words.
Right.
Do you call them OGs, Robbie? No?
No, we don't call them OGs.
Really?
That's new to me.
That's new? Okay, that's a Jill Hilliard, maybe. That
I believe.
Blame it on Jill Hilliard.
I'm gonna
explain them again because I want to track with this.
So we just have abbreviations. So we have female leading lady is an F1 sometimes. Sometimes like female leading lady 2 who dances maybe would be the F2. So not that she's second, but she also dances, like she does 2 things or whatever. So we have this language or whatever that we talk about.
On Norwegian, all of our seniors have to move. There's no such thing as park and bark anymore.
Yeah, that's gone. I think
that's gone.
So that is something I should say, that singers who think that there are shows that you just stand there is not really happening anymore. You need to go take a dance class and learn how to bevel and know what that means.
And you need to take a lot of dance classes. You don't need to stop taking dance classes.
No, continue.
Yes.
Period. The end. I had a girl who gave dance classes on the ship, and we were paying her $10 a class.
I require our cast to have 3 classes a week, plus they have to be at the gym 5 hours a week. It's part of their job duties. Yeah, they have to. You have to keep up on your craft.
I need to say this too, because I think Robbie will. It's not that you have to be skinny mini. We
No.
have to costume you, and we want you to look beautiful in your gowns, and it's part of the business. And I know that women, I go through this every day, and I'm a round, short girl, so I get it. But I'm always the one who has to go into the room and go, we need you to be show ready. And
Show
that
ready.
show ready means that we look good for and healthy and beautiful for you, which may be that we need for you to lose 10 pounds because we can't costume you, and that doesn't mean you have
Because
to
and the
be
reason for that, I'm interrupting, I know, but the reason for that is because there's some person that has designed that dress. It matches all the other dresses, and that person has designed and gone. So they can't design another dress to fit you.
It's a lot
And
of money. You can't do it.
it's a lot of money, and it's just not in the budget. And it's not. Go ahead.
I do have to say that. So I'm musical directing and choreographing Little Shop of Horrors, and those 3 urchin girls need to be fierce singers. And I said to the producer, are you okay with a little bit of a curvier girl who sings fierce? And sometimes that's a producer call, a producer who says, I really love that performer. We'll put a few more dollars into making that costume work because we love her and think she's amazing. So it doesn't always have to be that you're the skinniest person to be on a cruise ship or to be in a show, but it really is about this. If the show can require that, if the budget requires it. And I know that that's a hard thing to hear for girls who are curvy and
boys.
and
boys.
That's hard. It's a hard thing to hear, and I get it. And to do what you love and to be healthy and to look good in your costumes, I think you just need to know that that's part of the business, and it is not we're not trying to make you feel bad about yourself. Or so I wanted to say that because there's a lot of beautiful, bigger, lovely, round girls out there and boys who might work in a certain show, but it doesn't work for every show. It doesn't.
And it's exciting because we have now opportunities with Norwegian that we can hire those type of silhouettes, as we like to say. Like for instance, our silhouette.
I love my silhouette.
Yes. And I mean, like for instance, with Priscilla, the 3 divas can be curvy. They can be, as long as you sing your face off.
Sing your face
off. You gotta sing your face off. I mean,
exactly.
Marissa Rosen of New York City. She is. I love her because she's like 5 foot maybe, round, amazing, sings her face off, and she's worked with us several times. And we have shows that can allow ourselves to hire talent.
Yes.
Talent. So
that's amazing. I mean, when I saw that Royal Caribbean was doing Hairspray, I was like, I could totally be Edna.
I love that they're bringing
like, so we have some questions.
Okay.
We lost Jubel, so it's just me and you for a minute. But she'll join back. Let me just text her real quick. Join back.
Her battery probably died.
Probably. That's probably exactly what happened. So okay, here's a really interesting question. I never thought I would ever get asked this question.
Oh gosh.
Thomas Tolbert. Hi, Thomas. Thomas says, I am a professional, real bearded Santa Claus. How would I apply to work on cruise ships? Like Christmas in July or Christmas season. Do you guys do that?
I know that on some of our ships we do have Christmas shows and styles. There's some opportunities there. We haven't put together a Christmas show because budgetarily to build a show that's costs $250,000 and you only do it 6 times is very difficult to pass through. But you never know. I mean, sometimes we do hire people to come in and do special events here and there.
It seems smart to have a Santa Claus on a ship at Christmas.
Yeah.
So where are we? I know what we need to talk about. There's another question that came in from Candace, and it was, how can I land a job on a cruise ship? How do you find out about auditions? That's. So.
Okay. You want me to go?
Go.
Okay, so for Norwegian, we advertise not only online with our own website, which is norwegiancreativestudios.com, but that will list all of our auditions, upcoming auditions, how to submit, because we also accept video submissions. We also lay out in Dance Informa, answers for dancers, backstage, you name it, we're in it, we're doing it. We also do a lot of conventions like the SETC.
Okay, hold on. Let me stop you real quick because you broke up a little bit. And so do you go back to backstage? So you were in...
So we're in a lot of magazines like Backstage, Dance Informa, Answers for Dancers, all types of online audition sites. We also have our own site that you can go to see where we are coming and where we're going, and also how to submit a video submission. We also host part of other events like SCTC, UPDAs. We make presence there as well.
So also tell me, it looks like we're getting Jubel back on. So she'll be back in just a second.
Okay.
Wave when you're ready, Jubel, when you've got yourself framed and everything. Oh, there she is. Okay, here she comes. Here comes Jubel Obien. Okay.
Wait. Let's see your forehead.
Is that better?
Turn it. No, you look fine there, but you look good.
Is that better? Okay, literally, I'm holding my phone because the iPad died. So
we knew that's what it was. We knew
that. So crazy.
And right now, you're doing a Lois closet.
Sorry about that, guys.
The next question is, how do you land a job on the cruise ship? So we've talked about auditioning. I mean, auditioning is the way to land the job, but talk about we talked about, let's just review that because I think we covered it. We talked about your wardrobe, body conscious, look really good, know your book.
Yes.
Have lots of variety.
Open to direction.
Yep.
And be confident.
Confidence, yes. Confidence, definitely. I don't think it's bad for you to talk to us. Walk in the room and feel like comfortable talking to the people so that we can get a sense of who you are. Because I always say this to young performers, we're not just hiring your talent. We have to hang out with you for 6 weeks.
Yes.
Like we're hiring you and we're going to be in a room with you for 5 weeks or 6 weeks and then on a ship for 12 to 10 days putting your show up. And
you have to live on a ship for 6 months with other personalities.
Right.
And with very strict rules that you know nothing about. It's that $500 mattress shipping fee. Because the thing is that a lot of people don't understand that you guys install the show and then you're like, bye, Felicia, and you're gone. And all of a sudden you're working for people who have been living ship life for a really long time. They've worked their way up in a company, which takes years, and the rules are very strict. So the people that you see behind the audition table are literally going to say bye in a couple of weeks, and you're on your own. Like you gotta keep it together.
Yes. I like what Robbie said about it being summer camp, band camp, it's boot camp. It's all of it really is all those things. I would say the best training in your life for Broadway, for entertaining, for writing your own show, is going on a cruise ship and living abroad. It's like living abroad in concert. That's what it is.
So that's really good as well. I'm also the last thing is so the last question is let's talk about money. Like, what kind of money can people expect to make?
I'll be out there and it's in our posts, in our ads. A dancer's minimum, you start at $750 a week.
Okay.
Minimum. And then our singers usually start at $950 a week. When we get to the Broadway show, our minimum for a dancer and ensemble person is $950, and it goes up from there depending on your lead. And in our Broadway series, though, there are no other duties. When you're doing our Broadway series, your duty is the show and being a part of the entertainment. So you're doing cabarets, you're doing other performances, but you're not doing bingo, you're not calling trivia. You are a part of the entertainment department. Now, granted, on our dual class ships, or we call the legacy fleet, some of our dancers do participate, but it's a very minimal stuff they do, very minimal, from library to like gangway stuff. But it is part of the experience of the ship itself. And the more you're out there socializing with the guests, the better they love your shows, the better your ratings are, and the more joy you're going to get as well performing for those people.
It's very true. And those are really good rates. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, you have no expenses. You're fresh out of high school. You might have a cell phone bill and a credit card, and maybe a car payment. I mean, you could bank,
if you're smart,
$2,000 a month.
You walk away with at least $15,000 in your account.
And then imagine what $15,000 would do if you wanted to move to New York or LA. Yeah. Imagine doing a year and going home with $30,000 and walking to New York and going, you know what? I can afford new headshots. I can afford to train with the best. I can afford to, live here for 3 months.
That's all it takes.
Yeah, so that's so great. So guys, listen, thank you so much for joining me on this. This has really been fun. I mean, I've told you this, Robert, but and Jubel, you both know, my dream is to create some cruise ship shows because I love it so much. So
it's gonna happen, Levi.
I know Jubel and I have a show we're working on that we talk about working on. But and then
I'm inviting you, Levi, to bring your show to Tampa to the studios and film live from rehearsals at Norwegian Creative Studios, and you can show off. It'll be great. You'll meet cast, you'll see rehearsals, you'll see our operations, and you can share it with everybody online.
Oh my God, that's pretty amazing.
It's
come on down.
Fun.
So thank you guys so much. I think we answered a lot of stuff, a lot of good questions, and I really appreciate you guys so much. I love having you in my life, and thank you for sharing your wisdom with everybody today.
Love you guys.
Thank you.
Love you.
All right, bye.
Have a great Sunday.
So thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to, please, if you were watching this before, you can kind of click down and read through the comments. And if you have any questions, just comment. And if we'll get notifications and we can kind of help you through things. I know we've been talking for a while, but you know what? An hour and 15 minutes of your life is not bad for, learning the information you learned from these guys today. So thanks again for watching. And if you can remember, go grab your copy of Who Says You Can't, You Do. It's my favorite book. And I'm so glad to have you guys here. Thanks a bunch. Bye. BizOfShow signing off.